Hello, Redlationship fam!
How was your day? I'm Frank, so hop in the passenger seat because I've curated the absolute best Reddit stories for our drive today. Buckle up by hitting that like button and subscribe so you don't miss out. Let's drive in. So today's story comes from the Relationships subreddit, and it begins with the title, "Do I allow family that kicked me out at 18 back into my life? Wife thinks I should." Holy cow. Never in my dreams would I have thought that I would be the guy posted on Reddit asking for advice. I normally tend to lurk and offer occasional advice, but this one might need external opinions from. Sorry if a bit too long. So little backstory. I'm a twin, and when I was born, I hadn't developed my lungs fully, so had to stay in the hospital for quite a while. Due to this, I had a lot of developmental and emotional issues, dyslexia and anger issues. Now, I don't know if this is the reason, but I believe so, that because of these issues, I was treated poorly by my family, like I was somehow a burden on them. Not to say they were abusive, but the neglect I received was a lot. For an example, on our birthdays, I would ask for something, and my brother would get it instead. One year asked for a boombox, not a big one, but a smaller one. Instead, my brother got it. Christmas came around, asked for a remote-controlled car. Brother got one. I was told due to funds had to wait till after first of the year. Never happened, so basically got nothing but clothes for Christmas, while my twin got toys. I tried for years to show I was as good as my brother. He was always good at school, while I, of course, struggled. In 6th grade, I worked hard to make sure I got good grades, all B, which was good for me, and they said, "Oh, nice, your brother got all A." I think it was at this point I realized where I stood. I was just a roommate that they had to take care of, nothing more. So as a kid, I figured that if I can't get attention for positive things, then I'll do whatever, and if I get in trouble, at least they would be forced to pay attention to me. Not the brightest idea, but when you are 11 to 12 years old, what do you expect? When I turned 18, shortly after graduating high school, I was met at the door with a bag of clothes. I was told that I had to go, that they did their job, and I needed to leave. I asked what about my brother. They stated he was going to be somebody, as he was going to college, where I struggled in school, so clearly I was going to be a bum. To tell you the truth, I was ready to go anyways. I already knew how they felt, so this didn't even bother me. I grabbed my bag. My mom tried to hug me, but I ignored it and walked out the door, never looking back. It took a while for me to get on my feet. Nowhere to go, no place to sleep, not a penny to my name. But I had some friends to rely on, at least temporarily. Fast forward a few years, and I meet my wife while I was working at a gas station. We just clicked. Few years later, we got married. We built a home together, something I never really had growing up. Back in 2005, we had a baby girl, and 2 years later, a boy. From my perspective, my life is perfect. Family, home, a great job in IT. That was until yesterday. I received a phone call from my mom telling me my dad passed away and that she and the family would hope that I could make it to the funeral. Mind you, I don't know how she got my number, but probably from my brother, but I was shocked to say the least. I told her I was busy working, which I was, 12-hour shifts are fun, and would let her know later. She started to say something to the effect that they missed me and would like to be a part of my life or something like that, but I hung up. Kinda rude, I know, maybe even awe-ish, but from my perspective, I haven't heard a word from these people in 32 years. So why would I give them any more of my time? I told my wife, and although she knows about my family, she thought it would be the right thing to do, seeing that my mom reached out to tell me, where she could have not told me, that they are family and probably feel bad and want to reconnect. However, as far as I'm concerned, I already have my family. Those other people are former roommates that I have no obligation to anyone but those who I care about and who care about me. I get it. My wife loves me and is thinking of me and how I might regret not going. Just seems like they now know that dad is gone and life is short, so now guilt is creeping in and they don't want to die with that guilt. I mean, do I go at the wife's suggestion and be miserable being around people that I learned to let go of and not care about in order to look like a better person? Or do I stay home and continue to live my life, putting my own family first and ignoring those people? Guess asking those that have gone NC with their family if they let them back in, was it worth it? Or did it backfire in your face and something you wouldn't ever do again or suggest to others? Additional info. I live in Florida and they probably all still in California. So that would be a long trip and not sure worth it. As far as my twin, we don't talk. Not that we hate each other, we just walked different paths in life. I get/send the occasional Christmas card, but that's it. Unless some miracle has happened, my mom is probably still the self-centered person she's always been. She always wanted to be seen as the good person by family and friends. This story is absolutely heartbreaking. Childhood wounds like that never really heal, no matter how much time passes. It's hard to imagine what OP went through, facing that kind of discrimination with his twin brother all through his teens. OP, I'm truly sorry you were kicked out at 18 with nothing but a bag of clothes. But look at the bright side. That was probably the biggest stepping stone of your life. It led you to the success and happiness you have now. A great job, a wonderful wife, and amazing kids, right? As for the mother, I'd say be careful. Because 32 years, it's 32 years of zero contact, and now she wants to fix things using the late father as an excuse? That is beyond suspicious. If she really wanted to make amends, she would have reached out a long time ago, not waited until she needed something. OP, you needs to realize that you doesn't owe her a single thing. You built his life from scratch to the beautiful family you has now. That success belongs to you, and you shouldn't let her shadow darken it again. Just stay sharp, OP. A commenter says, your mom isn't reaching out because she genuinely cares or wants to reconnect with you. She likely kept this a secret from the extended family and just wants to dodge awkward questions about your absence. That's the thing about narcissists that your wife probably hasn't grasped yet. It's never about anyone except them. Whatever her excuse is for contacting you, it's strictly for her own benefit, not yours. And OP reply, damn, it feels like you know her. I'm glad to know I'm not the only one thinking this. Thanks for commenting. Another commenter says, they neglected and emotionally abused you all your life. Do what is best for you. Your wife can't possibly understand. OP also reply, she doesn't, and think it's hard for people who come from loving homes, families, to understand bad ones. But she is coming from a place of love, and for that, I'm grateful to have such a caring wife. An update from OP. First, holy crap, I really didn't expect this post to blow up. I tried my hardest to reply to comments as they rolled in, but after logging off to make dinner and hang out with family, I came back to hundreds of notifications. While I couldn't reply to everyone, I promise I read all 750 plus of them, even catching up this morning. Second, a huge thank you to everyone who read my story. Thanks for taking time out of your day to comment, share your own experiences, leave supportive words, and even to those of you who were totally blunt about what I needed to do. Third, taking the advice many of you gave, I sat down with my wife to read the comments together so she'd understand my perspective. Though some were pretty brutal, it worked. She understood and apologized for overstepping. I reassured her her heart was in the right place, nothing to be sorry for. Fourth, someone in the replies suggested that I reach out to my brother. Sorry, I lost your username in the massive thread, but I did exactly that. Update time. Alright guys, I hope you're ready for the absolute shit show of karma that's about to unfold here. Strap in and hold on. So I called my brother up. I asked if he had a minute, and he did. I asked if he gave my number to his mom, and he admitted it. He honestly thought it'd be better to hear about Dad's passing from her rather than him. I immediately asked why I'd want to hear from someone who threw me out at 18 and ghosted me for 32 years. He was shocked. He said, Mom claimed I could have stayed by paying rent, but that I refused and just walked out on my own. Like many of you pointed out originally, narcissistic people always twist the narrative to make it about them and look better. To tell you the truth, I can't even be surprised. That's exactly who she was then, and still is. She has to make me the bad apple, so they look like perfect parents who do no wrong. My brother and I had a good talk. We're never getting that close twin bond back, but we agreed to catch up more instead of just sending Christmas cards and birthday texts. Like I mentioned before, he isn't a bad guy. We just walked completely different paths. So then, I finally asked him why Mom suddenly wants to reconnect and why she wants me at the funeral. You guys were right! It turns out they blew through absolutely everything trying to keep up with the Joneses. Now that Dad is gone, she has nothing to her name. 0 savings. She's surviving on a small Social Security check and a fraction of Dad's pension, living in a tiny trailer. Word got back that I'd actually made something of myself, and she was telling people she couldn't wait to see me at the service. She fully expected me to bring my kids so she could meet her grandchildren. She actually told my brother I was definitely coming and hoped we could fix our relationship. I'm guessing so she could start begging for cash, just like many of you predicted, especially seeing that she's dirt poor now. After thinking about it, and mostly listening to you guys, I informed him I wouldn't be attending. I also made it clear I never told his mom I was coming. I feel bad Dad passed, but I mourned them decades ago. I'm at peace, and their deaths will be no different to me than a total stranger's. I explained that going wouldn't be for my closure. It would just be to make his mom look good. I have 0 interest in doing her any favors. They wrote me off 32 years ago, and I'm in a way better place without her toxicity, narcissism, and constant lies. I have to give him credit. He wasn't a jerk about it and totally understood my perspective. I told him, if anyone asks why I'm not there, tell them the truth or just lie. At this point, my immediate family matters way more than people who've been absent for 32 years, so I don't really care what narrative he gives them. As for his mom, I'm staying strictly no contact and blocking the number she called from. My wife and I agree this is best for our family, both for mental and financial reasons. I didn't work my ass off to get where I am today just to lose it all to her. Like a few of you suggested, I'm going to have a small, private goodbye from my dad on my own time. Once again, thanks, internet strangers. I never realized so many random people online could be this nice and genuinely caring. This old guy truly thanks all of you. So, it's pretty clear this mother is a textbook narcissist. She's the type who only cares about what she can get, always playing the victim and completely ignoring everyone else's feelings. I mean, look at the lie she kept up for 32 years with OP's twin brother. To me, it's obvious she's just looking for someone to take care of her in her old age, rather than actually wanting to fix a relationship that's been dead for over 3 decades. By the way, I'm glad OP's wife finally understands the pain he's been carrying, and I really want to congratulate him for standing his ground. But if it were me, and I'm just sharing my point of view here, I'd still go to the father's funeral. At the end of the day, they're still the ones who brought us into this world. But make no mistake, I wouldn't give in to a single one of that mother's ridiculous demands. That's exactly what she deserves after the way she treated her own flesh and blood. Now it's your turn. What do you think about all of this? Let me know down in the comments below. All right, let's roll straight into the next story. And it begins with the title, My Husband Has Been Cheating on Me with My Best Friend. and asked me tonight if I want to be in a throuple. Okay, let me start out by saying, fuck 2020. My husband lost his job in April and has been home while I have been working extra shifts, making $12 per hour, to keep us from going broke. Yes, I've been out of the house more than at home. Yes, I haven't been super active in bed because I am really exhausted all the time from working 70 hours a week, standing on my feet all 70 hours. I thought he'd appreciate that I am working so we have things like food and a place to live. Instead, he and my best friend have been fucking while I've been at work. She lost her job too. They've always gotten along with each other, and I've never felt jealous or threatened that they have hung out together, just the two of them, over the years. One very drunk night in 2009, she and I did make out, but it was a one-time thing, and I didn't enjoy it. I thought I could trust them, and that they were just friends. Obviously, I'm an idiot. Enough backstory. I came home tonight and found them snuggling on the couch watching TV, like in a spooning position, but it was very obvious it was intimate. They didn't panic, but she sat up, then he sat up. At this point, I felt my stomach turn into a rock and I felt dizzy. No word of a lie, my body went into some kind of shock. I just walked to the bathroom and closed the door and sat on the toilet. I just started crying after I have no idea how long. I threw up. I heard them whisper talking, but couldn't make out what they were saying. But then they knocked on the bathroom door and asked if I was okay, and I told them obviously fucking not. They didn't backpedal or deny anything. They didn't admit to fucking then, but my best friend said we should all probably talk about what's going on. I stayed in the bathroom. We talked through the door. That's when my husband said, okay, yes, we didn't want you to find out like this, but we have been in a relationship since July. He said some more things, but I honestly can't remember them because my ears were kind of ringing, and I kept things about him saying relationship. This wasn't a fling or a one-night stand. I could maybe forgive that, but a real relationship? Isn't marriage supposed to mean just and I are in a relationship? So he says whatever, and then my best friend says, so what do you think? I missed everything he said, obviously, so I told her that, and she said, so you missed the part about all three of us living together? After me asking, what? My husband clarified that she would stay on the couch, but they'd keep each other company during the day, and I could be with her too if I wanted. She knows I don't want this, because we would have made out more than that one time in 2009, right? I know she needs to move out of her place, because no job means no rent payment. I had told her in the past she could always crash at my place, but I never meant like this. How could she not know that? Is my best friend an idiot? Am I an idiot? I need advice. Yes, tell me that I'm the idiot I am for trusting them and having bad judgment and not doing my wifely duties. I own all those things. I just need help figuring out my next steps. I don't want to be in a throuple, and I don't even want to look at either of them. It's 3:30 a.m. and I can't sleep and don't know what to do. I feel like I've been used. I don't know even if I leave if I'd still have to pay for my husband's expenses because he's not working. Which would mean I'm paying for them to have a relationship, which idiot me has been doing since July, and I really hate my life right now. Bloody hell. I'm honestly losing my mind after reading this. How can someone be so ungrateful for what they have? OP is out there working 70 hours a week, on her feet all day just to keep food on the table and a roof over their heads. And what does her boyfriend do? He brings his unemployed mistress into their home and expects OP to pay for their little affair? And to make it even worse, it's OP's own best friend. That is just beyond shameless. OP, you need to stop and think clearly. Make a move now instead of blaming yourself and thinking you didn't do enough. In my opinion, no matter how hard you try, people like that will never change. They'll just keep using you. It's truly heartbreaking to see a hard-working woman who gives everything for her family ending up blaming herself for being betrayed. A commenter says, "You owe him absolutely nothing financially. He broke your vows. Just leave. You're incredibly hardworking, and you'll make ends meet until you find someone worthy of you. And screw your best friend. My advice would be to cut them both completely out of your life. They aren't right in the head to randomly come at you asking for a throuple. And OP reply, he's literally the only person I ever dated. Oh God, I'm so stupid. Yeah, I want nothing to do with them. Another commenter says, sincerely, from the absolute bottom of my being, leave his broke butt with that broke backstabber. How incredibly stupid can he be, cheating on the one single person his entire lifestyle depends on? Let them rot. It's honestly a blessing in disguise that you finally discovered their true characters. OP did post an update about a month later, but honestly, it's really long since she wrote it as replies to a bunch of private messages as Q&A. So I'm just going to pick out the most relevant parts for you. Sorry about that. Are you getting divorced? Yes, 1,000 times yes, 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 yes. He cheated on me and tried to manipulate me. I definitely did not sign up to be married to more than one person. I just don't want that for myself. People in the poly lifestyle actually messaged me to kindly explain that what my husband and best friend did is not how things are done in the poly community. Polyamory is built on love, trust, and communication. None of those three things happened here at all, so yes to divorce. Did you meet with a lawyer? Yes, and I'm so incredibly glad that I did, because I learned a lot. It turns out the way divorce works where I live is a strict process you have to follow. It can take about a year to finalize if it's uncontested, and even longer if the spouse objects. Right now, after filling out a mountain of paperwork, I am officially separated, which actually happened pretty fast. It turns out being working-class poor really helped with this. Having zero assets to split up made things so much easier. Since my husband and I basically made the same amount of money before COVID, and we don't have kids or pets, it's even simpler. But the actual divorce is going to take a long time and require a lot more paperwork. Thankfully, my husband isn't contesting it. Did you get your husband admitting to cheating on text or voice? My lawyer said it honestly doesn't matter. I live in a no-fault divorce state, which means the cheating makes absolutely no difference in how things play out legally. Everything just gets split right down the middle, whether or not your husband is a piece of garbage who cheats on you with your best friend, and whether or not you write on Reddit that your garbage ex did that, as long as it's the truth. Not that I'm bitter or anything. Okay, I might be a little bitter, but my therapist says it's healthy to express my anger. Are you expecting to get everything in the divorce? No. The law is the law. Plus, there's really nothing to take except some family keepsakes, which I already took with me. It was mostly my mom's jewelry that I inherited after she passed away this year. It wasn't worth a ton financially, but my lawyer mentioned there's a specific inheritance provision under the law for that. Otherwise, we literally just add up the value of everything, right down to our socks, and split it 50-50. In marriages where one spouse makes way more money, things like alimony, spousal support, or child support come into play. So my situation is thankfully very simple. We didn't have much anyway, so basically we're leaving each other perfectly even, just with a lot more emotional baggage. Do you talk to your best friend anymore? Absolutely no way! Not since that horrible night, and not ever again. I blocked her completely and refused to speak to her. She even showed up at my place, and I flat out ignored her apology. I have zero time for her nonsense or backstabbing anymore. She lost our entire friend group over this too. Once everyone found out, I got so many stories from them of her backstabbing people over the years. This was all totally news to me, but let's just say we all had stories proving how untrustworthy she is. I do still think about her sometimes and wish things could be different, but she shattered my trust in a way that can never be repaired. She and my husband still talk and are officially in a relationship. They have each other now, just like they wanted. Did you kick your husband out? No. I actually moved back home with my dad about a week after my first post. My mom passed away earlier this year, and he's been hurting a lot from that, so it just made sense. It's honestly nice to be back home. My mom was truly a perfect human. She was the exact kind of mom everyone wants, and she died very suddenly this year from a brain aneurysm. She is the one person I would have wanted here to help me through all this. My dad isn't my mom, obviously, but I'm quickly learning that he was always the silent partner who was 100% just as supportive as her. So, while I never expected to be living back in my childhood bedroom at 30 years old, it's actually the perfect place for me to be right now. Plus, my dad makes amazing baked chicken and always keeps ice cream in the freezer. For the moving out part, my friends and dad came over and we moved my stuff out at once. A lot of Redditors warned me about the unspoken dangers of ending a relationship and how an ex can get violent when they feel abandoned. My husband is a terrible human for many reasons, but he never got physically violent. Still, I decided playing it safe was important, so I called in favors from my friends. It went fine, and my husband ended up leaving during the move to make things easier on everyone.
Why did you call yourself an idiot and make things your fault? Because I'm stupid? Honestly, I think it's just what I always do. I tend to own up to things, even when they definitely aren't my fault. Which leads nicely into the next question. Wow, this update is such a huge relief. I'm so happy for OP. She's finally safe and out of that house and away from those toxic people. Watching her pack her bags and move back in with her grieving father, leaving that loser boyfriend and backstabbing friend to deal with their own mess. Man, that was the best decision she could have made. And I'm truly sorry for the loss of her mother. It's devastating. OP was already drowning in grief, and those two parasites chose that exact moment to take advantage of her, both financially and emotionally. That is just low. I know it's going to take a long time to process everything and heal from this. I just hope OP stays strong and keeps moving forward on the path she's chosen for herself. Now it's your turn. What do you think about all of this? Let me know down in the comments below. Alright, I just want to say thank you guys so much for being here today with Frank. If you do like the video, don't forget to hit like and subscribe. That really means a lot to me. I'll catch you in the next video. See y'all!